position myself to get there. So I applied, so I did a spring week at UBS. I got offered an internship at the end of my first year to do second year. I had fast tracked. But then I thought, I want to apply for Goldman. I want to just apply for So I did. I got an offer, and there I had to now negotiate politics because I'd accepted something at another bank.
Oh, right.
Got an offer, had to negotiate. The UBS pulled out the stops, like you could do part of your internship in Switzerland.
So you go Banstead, right? So you moved to Banstead.
We moved to Banstead, and then I decided that I'm going to move schools for sixth form. I knew that I wanted to go away for uni. My older siblings did, so I assumed I don't really want to be in London.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to try day school for 2 years. And it was a day girls' school, which is completely different to a mixed boarding school, and grammar and private. So I've experienced the whole education system in this country. I've done comprehensive, I've done private boarding, I've done day grammar school, I've done it all. So I can really tell you, but it is actually very different. So it was an interesting experience being in a girls' school. Is a different dynamic, and then also a grammar school is very academic only.
Right.
So whereas at CH I had that kind of balance of like I had
sports.
netball and hockey, or athletics. I always had stuff happening at a high level. But at a grammar school is literally like we're here to just get the A's. So it was quite different.
And they said at your interview that they believe.
Yeah. So I went to that you would be someone that we would definitely put forward for Oxbridge. And I was like, okay.
What did that mean to you?
I think it meant, wow, like they think I'm good. They don't even know me. It was an interview setting, but on paper, for what they see and obviously the references they got from my teachers, they think that I'm good. It also was that confidence boost, like, yeah, actually, maybe I can get in. And it kind of just also helped me to realize that I can look ahead like that. I can plan to break barriers that early, that young. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Awesome. And from there, you apply, you get the grades you want, 3 A's, I assume?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I applied to Cambridge, got in, a conditional offer. I got my grades, got my A's, and then, I went to Cambridge.
And in this whole time, obviously family are happy, celebrating you, and you're celebrating yourself. No, like, when you turn up to Cambridge, any imposter syndrome or? No,
I think, so even to get to Cambridge, I must also shout out to one of my really good friends who, he's a couple of years older than me. We have the same birthday, so he's like my birthday twin, but he always does stuff that I think like is really inspirational. And even he went to Oxford. And so even as I was preparing for my interviews, I think he was the first person I thought, okay, if he's got in, and I've known him from secondary school, then I can do it. And he went to Sacred Heart, just a comprehensive school. Yeah, and he's amazing. You may even know him, so later we'll talk. But and I remember he kind of coached me as well because he studied similar subjects. I did economics. I think he did PP, politics, something economics. And he really coached me through that interview process and what to do, and that helped and gave me the confidence to kind of know what to expect. And I say that because when you, even as a black person, break certain barriers and get to certain places, do help those that are just behind you. Don't just say, I want to be a legacy for my children. There's some people that are just 1-2 years behind. Help them, give them that advice, give them that time. And this friend of mine has been that person. Like he also worked at Goldman a couple of years ahead of me. And that made me feel like, I can apply and get in.
So it's like a running mate.
Yeah, and I think it helps. It helps to identify people that you can help that are not too far off and pull them up. But anyway, yes, so I went to Cambridge, and that, did I have imposter syndrome? I think no, because I went to Christ Hospital, it was that kind of culture. It had not been to Christ Hospital, it would have been very different. But I think because I went to that kind of culture where we marched to lunch, that it looks, I mean, Harry Potter was supposed to get filmed at the school. That's the kind of air it has about it. So going to Cambridge, I didn't, but I had friends. I had a very good friend who studied English in my college, and she went to a local comp in Brent. They wore tracksuit bottoms as their uniform. Like, she came to Cambridge, and I remember she was just wowed by everything, just like everything. But I wasn't, because I had already experienced some of that she already at secondary school.
She, we need to get a little description of what she is.
Well, just like that higher society England. I'd experienced that already. So, and I think I also at Cambridge, I understood what I was good at.
Right.
And I think that helps. I understood what I was good at, and I made a network around the areas that I needed help with. So I diversified my network. And the advice I always give to university students that go to university is don't just go to people that look like you. When you go to the lecture halls, don't just go sit to the people that you think will sound like you, look like you. Like the network that you can make is amazing. And those are also people that can help you. I had a friend, a friend who was from the Philippines, I think she was. I can't remember now, but she was amazing at math. She was like a genius at the way I attached myself to her. I said, I'll help you with the economic history. I'll help you. You help me. But you need to know, and it's like that at work, in the workplace. Yeah. There's things that you'll be great at. There'll be deals that you know that if this deal, I can bring this, but you need to partner with someone else who can augment, some of your weaker areas. And university is a time to learn that. So that's how I got good grades, because I understood how to partner and to collaborate. And I think I was like that during school. I wasn't someone, I'll get good grades and not help people. I always wanted to collaborate, and that served me well, I think, yeah.
Jeez. And then you go there for 3
years.
3 years. And then when you're in your third year, you start thinking about placement, or did you?
So I knew I wanted to go into investment banking because I'd done an internship in year 13 at Citigroup. So
Wait,
yeah.
How'd you get that?
So my sister interned at Citi, and there was an organization called the Brokerage.
Right.
And I applied through them, and I got an internship. So that's what I was saying. I was someone who was very forward thinking. I didn't want to work just in retail, even though it could pay me. But I wanted to get close to where I wanted to go to. So I did an internship operations in Citi. I didn't want to be in operations, but when I got there, I understood how an investment bank worked. Wow. So when I was networking for my spring weeks and for my second year internships, I knew how a bank worked. I knew exactly where I wanted to go. I wanted to be on the trading floor. Because a lot of people, black people who go into investment banking, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think they sometimes just apply for anything. They usually find themselves in operations and tech, which is fine, but there's not many in investment bank, IBD or sales and trading. And maybe because there aren't people who are in those areas, so you don't even consider it. But because I was able to intern at a young age, I saw where I wanted to be and I positioned myself to get there. So I applied. So I did a spring week at UBS. I got offered an internship at the end of my first year to do second year. I had fast tracked. But then I thought, I want to apply for Goldman. I want to just apply for yeah. So I did. I got an offer. And there I had to now negotiate politics because I'd accepted something at another bank. Oh, right. Got an offer. Had to negotiate. The UBS pulled out the stops. Like, you could do part of your internship in Switzerland. You could do we want to. And I was just like, do you know what? I'm gonna. And I went to Goldman. So I did my internship in my second year. Okay,
so this is important. Why did you go to Goldman?
I wanted to start my career at the highest possible place that I could. And at the time, UBS, I think their commodities business and some of their front office business was struggling. I can't remember at the time. The market, there was the financial crisis had happened at that time. There's certain banks, Lehman Brothers had gone down. Certain banks were shaky and some were looking stronger. And so I just was like, I want to just go for the best.
And so you graduate university.
Before I graduated at university, I think this is important, I got meningitis a week before my final exams.
No, what? Did you go to travel or something?
Pardon?
Did you go to Ghana or something?
No, it came from nowhere. Literally, Easter holidays, I decided that I wanted to stay at Cambridge to revise. And then I started feeling ill. Like I started feeling like I had the flu. And I just was like, I was getting headaches. I just want to revise. I get my first. That's all I want to do. And I went to doctors, and I remember them just being like, oh, is it stress? Maybe it's stress because your exams. And I was just like, no, there's something. I knew there was something that wasn't right. And I remember calling my mum, like, Mum, can you pray for me? I'm not feeling well. I just want to study and I can't. And I remember she prayed for me, and then I slept and I woke up and it felt like I had a sack of potatoes in my head. I couldn't move. So I called my parents and I said, I need to come home. They said, jump on the train and come. And I was like, I can't walk. So my dad literally zoomed over to Cambridge, picked me up. I went home and I thought maybe just being in a home environment will help me. Still not feeling well. Went to hospital. Cut a long story short, they tested, I had meningitis. And a meningitis is an infection of the fluids that govern your brain and spine. And my mum had a good friend who had meningitis who ended up with her fingers amputated and being in a coma. So we knew, and some things you don't know what it is. I knew what meningitis was. And this was literally, this was 2 weeks before my finals. And so I was in hospital for like a week. And I got better, but I was told that you know, you'll have memory loss, you won't be able to remember things, your eyesight, all these consequences that happen because if you have meningitis. And I remember getting discharged from hospital, trying to study, and it just not happening because I just had headaches. And then I had a week to go back, and I was told by the university, just do your best to see what happens. Revise, prayer every single day, like, thank you for my first, I thank you for my first, I thank you for my first. I did the exams, they were okay. I didn't feel like I got a first. When I got my results, I literally dropped to my knees and I said, what? I came sick for my year, and I had an infection.
You said sick?
I had an infection of fluids that covered my brain and spine.
And you were sick?
And the reason why I'm sharing that part is because when you talk about the mindset, I could have easily, I had been in, I was in a hospital bed. I could have been like, do you know what? Let me defer, isn't it? Let me just do what I could, let me just do what I could do, or you know, I just can't. But I just was like, no. That's the kind of mindset that I think I had. Yeah.
You're competitive, right?
Yeah, but not even with anybody.
No, that's what I'm saying, with yourself.
But yeah.
It's like, it's almost like you're telling yourself, if you give up now, and it's almost like that fight, nah, I'm not going to do it. Because you're going to look back and say, missed an opportunity.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like I'm in that season now where I've got 4 children. I'm doing a master's in human and social data science. I'm a chief in an organization where I need to perform. Like, there's a lot going on, but I'm trying to just push through.
Yeah.
Because I have that mindset.
Yeah, exactly. And I think because it's there, you can't shake it. It's not something that you say, oh, maybe today I'll think this way. But even if you try to be lazy, because of your habits, you're habitually always going to wake yourself up, hello, can we just get back to work now? Can we get it on?
And don't get me wrong, there are times where I feel like I can't, I'm done. I actually can't do it. Or I can't. But I always just come back to my why. Which is just, I need to make an impact. I think now when I see my children and when they're old enough to understand my journey, it will inspire them even more. That people also, I'm the only black, what we call pioneers in my organization, black female, that's senior. I just feel like there's people that I feel like I need to break through.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't want it to sound like it's just easy, that you have this mindset and you just go. There's many a times where I'm like to my husband, baby, I'm tired, I can't. But you have to have that resilience and that resolve to just, when you have that setback, you will. What did you just push through?
Yeah, exactly. So with you going to Goldman, you get in, obviously you've got a quite clear focus, you've had that experience at City, so you know what you want.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier on, money is not really a thing, it's more about you being successful.
Yeah.
So you stay at Goldman, and then what happens? Do you move quickly? So
I think I probably moved on like the average, but then I got a setback where some people made VP and I wasn't.
Right.
Because I had 2 children at Goldman, and I had to also understand that as a mother, I'm not the same as just someone who's in my cohort who is their single self. I got married at 23. I bought a house at 23. I have 2 children. I had 2 children by 26 or however old I was. And so I had to though remind myself. So even I remember like when I was upset about not getting promotion, I think it was an MD, a female MD that said, but Jenny, you have a child. You're pregnant. Like other girls that are your age don't. So stop trying to think, like put that pressure on yourself to be like someone who's not in your circumstance.
Yeah.
And I had to come to terms with that motherhood, and I'm really passionate about it now, that it's not that it will slow you. The truth is it will slow you down. It will, but it doesn't mean that it's over. Like your whole career is a whole journey, years. And I had to understand that I have got years. In the grand scheme of things now, no one cares. Like, when did you get promoted as a VP in 2000 and this, 2000? No one cares. They just see that you were, do you know what I mean? But sometimes you feel like, and especially when you're in these high pressure environments like banking and corporate law, you just feel like, I need to make it to the next level, I need to make it to the level. And as a mum, that's why so many when I speak to women, they're just like, they're planning when they're having their children so meticulously because of this rat race. Yeah, that's right. And I was someone that family was really important to me, and I knew that Goldman can let someone go. I seen it, let them go in a flash. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna dictate my timings for just Goldman, but I did also have that like insecurities that maybe when should we have it because of career, this and that. But at the end of the day, another MD, my boss, she told me, and I told her I was pregnant, and I was all shy. She was like, "But Jenny, you're a woman. You're gonna have babies sometime." And she was an MD. She had waited to have her kids until she had made MD. She said, "You're gonna have a baby sometime. Don't do what I." She literally told me that. She said, "Just have them. Doesn't matter if you're analyst or MD." She had that candid.
Wow.
Like, why are you scared? Well, I remember having that conversation, telling her that. She was like, "Yo, what do we expect?" She's like, "There's no good time in your career to have them. There's no good time to just have them and make it work." And I just thought, do you know what? And that's what I've done. That's why people are like, "What? You got 4 children?" I've literally like strategically been like, "Hey, I want to move now from Goldman." So I wanted to move from Goldman for a couple of reasons, but one of the main drivers was that I now had 2 children. I didn't see any role models that I wanted to be like as a mother and a career woman. And I wanted to do work in an industry that gave me that more flexibility over my time.
Yep.
And I could see that consulting could do that. Where I could do school drop off a couple of days a week. I could work from home here and there. At the time, working from home in where I was, I remember like an MD blocked me working from home intentionally. Like, he was like, "That's not what we do." Like, it was just, obviously now it's different because of COVID, they have to change.
Yeah.
But I just remember that I wanted to be a little bit more present in my children's lives. And so I applied for a role. I remember interviewing for that role. And it wasn't an industry that I was even familiar with, but there were some similarities that I just said I can do because I've done it here. I'm sure I could do it. And I remember when they offered me the job, they actually said, "This is for a manager position, but we want to give you senior manager and want to increase your pay." Literally, they were like, "We've interviewed you and we think literally, I said, what? I interviewed for one level, they offered me the higher level, and I'd never been in that industry before. So I was able to move from Goldman VP level at the same level in a consulting firm and increase my pay.
But you know why? Because you worked at Goldman.
Probably.
I'll tell you why. Not to say that you don't deserve to get what you got, but it's because I think we interviewed a couple of other people that work for JP or Goldman, and they said that because of the knowledge that you have from those companies, the way that you work is so different from every other normal organization that they want to leverage that information from you in a way that will benefit them. So you are a premium.
Yeah,
or did you not say that?
I think if I'd gone to another investment bank, but I was literally like in a completely different industry. I didn't even know how consultants. I didn't know anything about consulting. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know anything about consulting. I didn't know anything about technology. So, but I think it's the way I've also told my story in the interview. Because when you look at my profile on paper, you may just think, oh, someone who just gone to like the best schools, this and that. But no, like my parents were immigrants from Ghana. We lived in a council flat and corridors. I was one of literally 5. My dad he just taught us. And we're literally products of opportunity. Unless you see that context, you will just think that, oh, your parents have money to just take you to these schools. And I told them that in the interview. And I think they can see that I was a grafter. That I will learn it. I'll pick it up, I'll learn it. And because I was from a low socioeconomic background, low. But by the grace, my parents were able to get us to a level. And we just have to make the most of it.
Wow. So you get into Accenture, senior manager position. Do you feel like a duck out of water? Does it go smoothly for you?
I did feel like a duck out of water, to be honest, because it's hard when you're making those types of moves as a senior person. It's much harder because you're senior, so people just.
And then also it's about billing. It's about billing, isn't it?
So I was not a consultant. So I was in like business development. So we're trying to sell essentially consultants into the.
Okay.
So we will shape like digital transformation programs, solution them up, shape them up, and then price them, and then hopefully get people in there.
Right.
But it's completely different to Goldman. The way that you sell, like on a trading floor, is like you have the instinct. You know that this person is very instinctive led, and it's like a market. In consulting, everything is planned. Everything is everything. You know everything. I will know everything about you before I even have my first conversation with you. Goldman, everything's just by instinct.
Yeah.
So I had to actually learn a different way of working. And I thought that was good for me as a mother. I knew that I wanted more children. And I had moved laterally in a way, increased my pay, and also was able to learn something new. Because I want that I think as a mother, as a working mother, sometimes it's not necessarily what you're doing, but if it's adding to what you haven't done already, even if you feel like, it's at this time in my career is like flat because I'm just trying to child rear. I'm not trying to. The mums will know what I mean. Like you show up like, I'm on it, but really I'm just trying to just survive. But do those things that will just add to your skill set, because it will serve you well when you are ready to be like, I'm ready to accelerate and go. And I think I had that mindset.
Right.
And even I had a fourth child, and even my move now, I'm always thinking about how am I adding to my skills. So when I'm ready to just zoom, like I can pivot, I could do what I want to do whilst gathering up all this experience in the meantime. And it's hard for mums. Like sometimes you just feel like, I just want to be, it's a lot. Juggle is a lot. I just want to take a time, I just want to take a break. And which is fine. But sometimes you don't always have to take a break. You could just sidestep, strategically move, change, do things in a different way, but you're adding value to what you have. So when you're ready, they'll pay for it.
And then we're done with 4, or is there 6?
I'm done with 4. I'm
sure?
done with 4. The way that
don't come back next year.
The way that I'll fill
and then
up,
I'll say, by the way.
My husband will say that because I'm saying I'm done. He's done. But the third one, I was like, I don't know, and we had 4, and now I'm like, I'm done. I'm full. I'm so full. I'm full.
Okay, excellent. So you're at Accenture. It's going well. How many promotions did you get at Accenture?
So I didn't get promoted at Accenture. I stayed at senior manager. So I was there for 5 years. I had 2 more children there.
Okay. Oh wow, yeah, of course. So then, instead of focusing on getting promoted to what would have been the next level? Is it director?
It would have been managing director, yeah.
So rather than focusing on that, you focused on getting particular skill sets that would serve you, so that you could have the flexibility to rear 2 more children. Yeah. Excellent.
And I think, I want to just give that message to mum. That's okay.
Yeah.
Because trust me, like that pressure. And I had someone in Accenture even told me that, like, to have like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like, just make sure you are learning. Titles and roles are just titles and roles.
Exactly.
If you get the skills, you can get to that role. And I think I'd been in my career long enough to know that I'm not chasing titles. And so when I had a different mindset, but sometimes when you are on the race and you haven't had time to reflect, you're just trying to just get that promotion, that senior VP, now MD. And at Accenture, to be honest, I was just trying to learn, because it was a completely new industry, learn what I needed to learn, have my children.
Brilliant.
And manage.
And I think you said something earlier which is important, is that you don't want to be on the road as people that are not in your situation. Because I almost feel like some people are trying to go on like an escalator and we're trying to stand side by side.
Yeah.
But actually some people, like when you go to the airport, you've got the one that goes fast, or you can have people that walk. And sometimes you just have to know that, okay, you can go and walk on, but guess what? We're going to the same place. And we're going to eventually get there. And you have
to be comfortable with that.
But the challenge to be comfortable with that is no one talks about that.
It's true. No one does.
Like no one sat you down and said, girl, just run, no one outside of the work environment said, just have children. There's always the conflict. It's either the cultural way or it's the corporate way. Yeah. And there's no one teaching. I think you should do a podcast back, but we'll move on to that. Cool. So that goes really well. And then you now have the full child, and then you say, no more Accenture. Why? So
I had my 4th baby. So I applied to do a master's because Accenture were going through redundancies, and I thought, it was a massive redundancy thing they were doing, and I had no idea what would happen. And I thought, I'm going to apply for a master's just in case. Literally, it was literally, I saw this scholarship. Right. And I thought, this is really interesting, like this tech scholarship for ethnic minorities. And I thought, and I've always thought I would like to go back and study, but I don't want to just do something just for the sake of doing. I want to do something that will maybe add value to me. So I thought, let me apply. I applied, got the scholarship, got in, and then I wasn't made redundant. And I was like, what do I do? Do I study? Do I not? And I was pregnant at the time, and I said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can defer it a year, because I was pregnant. And they said that you can't defer the scholarship. I spoke to the lady who does the course thing, and she was like, we'll defer it for you. And I was like, okay. So they deferred the scholarship for me on maternity leave. Kind of put in the back of my mind that I'm supposed to be doing a master's in the September. And then it was getting closer and closer. They were like, are you coming? And I thought, let me not think about my childcare. Let me not think about logistics. I'm coming.
Wow.
I just said that, literally. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just said, I'll take the place. I'm coming. Then, minding my own business, I'm going back to Accenture. That's what I planned. And then I got headhunted for this role. And I was like, this sounds interesting. Never heard of this company. Let me check them out. Had the conversation, interview process, kind of understood more what the role was, and thought, oh, this is going to be very different to what I'm doing.
Again, so it's a new change.
A new change. But then it's also new, I'm doing a master. And I told them, I said, look, I'm doing a master's. They basically got to the point of offering. I said, I can't. I thought at first I'll do either the master's or the new job. And I said, no, I want to do the master's actually. Because I see the value in upskilling. And they said, we'll let you work part-time. And I said, okay. Because I've never worked part-time before. So I've had 3 children. I've never worked part-time. I've always worked full-time. And so I was like, okay, but I don't want to start now. And they offered me like October. And I said, I want to start the master's, do the first semester and then join. They said, okay, fine. You could join. We'll keep it till January and you can start part-time. And I said, okay. And I thought, do you know what? Let me try something new. I know that I'm trying to get more upskill in tech. This part of my skill set I need to develop.
Yep.
So I want to develop it and I want to also study and see how it goes. And so I resigned from Accenture. Also, they increased my pay, which helps.
Working part-time?
Yeah, it's working part-time, yeah. They said I can. And it's also, because there's tech, there's shares as well and stuff like that. And it's grown
you got equity?
Exponentially. Yeah, I've got equity as well. So I thought, let me, is it pay rise? They give me flexibility that I need. So I'm only doing part-time until my contact time with uni finishes. So I'm going to go back to doing full-time. But I could try and make something, I could try and make it work.
Which you are?
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying, so yeah.
But it sounds so, hearing the story end to end, it sounds really extraordinary because at the beginning at Goldman, you said, oh, I didn't make VP. Now someone's offering you more money for part-time. It's so strange where we chase after things, thinking that, oh, this is what we need. Yeah. But actually what we want, it comes to you. 'Cause I'm sure you didn't even ask for you didn't ask for it. Yeah. Likewise with Accenture, right? You didn't ask for senior manager.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have a lot of favour.
Oh, I pray. But I do. I'm a Christian and I don't take that. Like I got saved when I was 16 years old. And from then, my 10A stars, literally the Easter before my GCSEs, I got baptized the Sunday before my Latin exam, which was my first GCSE. And so literally I'm like, God, you take the driving seat because this life is not easy, boy. It's not easy. Even with my meningitis, I'm telling you, like, my faith was a big part of me. Just, I'm ill, I'm sick, but I'm going to just do it. I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. It's
extraordinary. I'm literally trying to take it all in. My head is like pulsating. But I really appreciate you coming down, sharing your story. And I'm sure we're going to hear from you again, you know, once you finish your masters and take over the world and tell me, oh yeah, I got funding, I'm starting my own tech company.
Oh, I'm sure you're going to... That will come.
I'm sure you're going to say everything. I'm sure you're going to come back and tell me.
I've got some ideas actually. But I must also say that my husband has been amazing.
Yeah, because
sometimes I think I'm crazy and leaving this company to go to that company. It's like, what are you doing? But also with the children, like my son plays academy football. Anyone who is in the football world knows that is not an easy schedule. Like, it is not. And then I have a second son who, he's sick, he's young, but plays a year up. Chelsea, everywhere, he's everywhere. Just this little 6-year-old boy everywhere. And so to be able to work and manage, COVID has helped us. Lockdown working, everyone's used to now it's working, but my husband has been great. He has helped me a lot and encourages me to do more, even when I'm like, I can't do it. He's like, you can. Be like, so I think having people in your community to champion you, and not just my husband, but also like my parents, childcare. When I worked at Goldman, there was times when I'd have to go to Ghana. I used to have the Ministry of Finance Ghana. Literally, they'd be like, we're going to Ghana in 2 days. I have a 1-year-old. Mummy, can you stay at your house for like 2 days? Like, having that community around you. And how I've been able to do it for more kids is because I have a community as well. Right. Like dropping them with their auntie, mum, all those things. And I think that does help. So even if you don't have family, build your community. That could be your friends, that could be whoever, but you can't do it alone. No. And to have that community that you can just lean on when you're just like, I can't do it. They like push you back up. You can. We'll sort it out. We'll sort you out and help you. That has helped me get to where I am.
Excellent. I love this interview. Really good. Awesome.
Banking in particular is really challenging because we're heavily regulated. So because of what happened with the financial crisis, we have the regulators on our backs just to make sure that we don't have another situation where employees make the wrong decisions, which can have an impact on society as a whole, as we remember, right? Forward.